did this ourselves.
They're coming. It can't be.
Where is everyone?
Hey, survivors, MakeShift here. Just got back from Neotropolis, which is the event that the Wasteland Weekend guys put on in the spring. It's cyberpunk, it's sci-fi, it's on a distant planet called Kepler 609c, and the city's called Neotropolis. It's kind of wild. It's a desert planet out in the outskirts of some universe somewhere where they discovered unobtainium. No, that's not the right one. Protectium. They discovered some kind of mineral that's really valuable. And so we're all there trying to mine it. There's the corpos, there's the militants, there's the resistance. There's a lot going on. And we're going to get into that with my guest, Marky Makeup, your cosmetic mechanic, coming up really soon. I do want to just tell you a little bit of news going on here at the Apocalypse Post. First off, we're getting really close to releasing the first story for Season 2 of Legends of Wasteland City. Sorry it's been so late. I know half the year has gone by practically, and no new episodes yet. And I've been promising them since last year. And to be quite honest, I'm just really bogged down in some real world stuff and want to make the stories as good as I can. But I can tell you, for the first story, a 6-parter called Don't Stop Shooting, the narration is recorded and I've got a bunch of the voices recorded and it's time to start putting it together. So those should be coming really soon. I've also got the June Patch of the Month announcement coming up in this episode, so stick around. I think you guys are going to really like it, especially if you enjoyed Fallout, the TV show that just came out on Prime this month and is so good. So we're going to talk about that too. And I just want to say thank you to all of my wonderful patrons out there that have been supporting the show, some for literally years and some that are just signing up, especially since we started doing the Patch of the Month. Really appreciate you guys getting behind the show and putting your money where your mouth is and helping things out, because it definitely makes it a lot easier, as always, to create as much content as I can for you. And I've got some great content coming out from Neotropolis. We're going to be putting some new stuff out from Wasteland. I still have some footage I haven't worked yet. So leading up to the event, there will be a lot more coming. And also the Wasteland Weekend 2023 map is almost done. Those will be going to the printer really soon. I know that some of you prepaid for those already. Don't worry, they are coming. And if you haven't ordered one yet, I'm going to have to find the link and I'll put it in the show notes where you can pre-order one, but those will be coming really soon. All right. I don't want to hold things up, so let's bring on Marky Makeup and get this show on the road. All right. With no further ado, let's bring on June's Patch of the Month sponsor. He is Marky Makeup, your cosmetic mechanic. Welcome to the show, Marky.
Hi, Marky Makeup, your cosmetic mechanic. What's going on? Flash, bang. Alakazam out of an orange-colored sky. Here we go.
You always come in with a flare, don't you?
Wow, we gotta jump on in here.
I love it. All right, cool. So, yeah, I know I've been on your show a few times. You've been on the Apocalypse Post before, right? I feel like, yeah.
Well, we have a standing date to do year in review. We've done 2 year in reviews together.
That's right. Did we do one this year for Wasteland? Because we're kind of going to do it for Neotropolis right now.
We have been doing calendar year in reviews, so not event year in reviews. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to do an event in review this time. Because the first thing I want to talk about is Neotropolis 2024, which you were at. I wasn't working so much. You were working pretty hard, though.
It could always work harder, but yep, I was there in the body shop slinging paint on folks.
I want to get into the body shop a little bit later because I did actually get a body shop experience. But first, I just want to know how'd you feel about Neotropolis in general? Like, how was this year for you?
This year was a 9 out of 10, I think. I think this year was fantastic. I thought it was really, really good. It definitely has found its footing. It's walking, it's talking, it's running. It is no longer kind of the Bambi learning to walk kind of thing. It is. We are full immersive, full in it. And people are running with the theme. Not me so much. Yes. I'm trying. But there are people who are just light years ahead of myself, and they're doing fantastic.
I have some Wasteland tribe mates that went to the first one that haven't been back yet. And from what I understand, the first Neotropolis was a lot smaller. It was very trial and error. They were trying to figure things out. There was still like Mega Block and a lot of the structures, but it was a colder year. It rained, and it really hadn't built out yet. What would you say to people that either haven't gone yet or went that first year and haven't been back yet since?
I it's kind of like when you watch the first season of a show and it's like weird and strange and has no budget. Now it definitely the costumes have stepped up. The weather was temperate, minus that one day this year.
Uh-huh.
It just
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
the missions are fully formed. People's costumes are fully formed. There's not a lot of t-shirts. There's not a lot of denim. And people are bringing it. It's definitely gotten to the fast lane.
Yeah, and I think that this event is insanely unique because if you think about like what's out in the world, obviously, if you're going to talk about festivals where costumes are mandatory, we have to talk about Burning Man and we have to talk about Ren Fair, which there's a little bit of both of these happening at Neotropolis, just like Wasteland. But yeah, Burning Man is kind of like it's a big free theme party. It's kind of like a create your own theme party in a way, right? Where every
They
tribe that's out there is kind of doing their own thing
every
in a
camp
way.
almost has a different theme, and there are some lightly themed days. You do kind of have to do some deep diving to figure out what day is what theme. But yeah, Burning Man's pretty much
But then
throw glitter on it and you're doing it right.
and I haven't been to Burning Man yet, but there's no like role playing aspect to it other than you can be whoever you want to be in this made up world of utopia, right?
They try to
Like
say
if you want to just be,
it's like be who you would want to be in the default world. Be your most true self, which I think I'm already doing that. So
right?
he says as he wears a neon jacket. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And then when we're talking about like Ren Fair, you got all the Ren Fair people that are involved with the festival. They're dressed up, they're in character, they have like motivations and history and shows they put on. But then you also have 90% of the people there are just attendees, and a lot of them are in jeans and a t-shirt, right? So you don't get that immersion on that side, but you do get a lot of that like role playing aspect of improv and some performer coming up and just assuming you are a knight who's not wearing his medals yet, right? So somewhere right in the middle you got Neotropolis, where yes, it's a festival, everyone's dressed up, there is some role playing, you don't have to participate, but it's also a music and arts festival all lumped together, and somehow it works.
I think it works because it comes from people who are attending are like video. We're so into video games now, more than ever before, more than any other form of entertainment. And in video games, you choose your own adventure. So whereas kind of the other festivals, you may be watching and not participating as much. Neotropolis, like Wasteland, kind of demands a little of you that you participate, perhaps.
Yeah, at least to a certain extent, right? Because everyone has to be in costume. I think that already sets the stage for an incredibly like immersive and special experience. Because just having everyone out of their day-to-day jeans and a t-shirt, or their corporate casuals, it takes you out of this world into a new place where we don't talk about real world stuff while we're there, which is so great. And it's just really fun because you can dive in. There's a ton of vernacular that I'm still trying to catch up with Neotropolis.
Yep.
Like, luckily, the website's there to help you through it, and then the people that know better can kind of get into it. But yeah, as far as like a festival that blends so many of my favorite things, the music, the art, a little bit of role play, not a lot, a little bit of role play, and the immersion. I think this has a huge opportunity to become like a gigantic thing, right?
I think if they want it to be gigantic, it'll be gigantic. Do you think this is going to be as big as Wasteland, or do you think we're keeping this a little more intimate, perhaps?
Well, here's my thing. All right, so this is a weird year, right? Because with Wasteland, we've got Furiosa that's coming out. Oh shoot! By the time this airs, like in a week, and then we had the Fallout TV show just come out, and we're gonna get there. Don't jump into Fallout yet. We're gonna get there. But I think this Wasteland is going to be a very big newcomer year. That's my impression. Because back in 2015, when Fury Road came out, we had a huge boost of new Wastelanders, which was a ton of fun and brought a whole new energy to the festival. Were you around for those years?
Was I around? Oh my goodness. No, I was not. My first year was the new site year. So
for 2017.
So 17, yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like, and I don't think I'm the only one that said this, and of course this is just my humble makeshift opinion, but I think Neotropolis actually has the potential to be bigger than Wasteland.
Holy cannoli! Hot take, Mike Darling.
Yeah.
Woo! Zing!
But there's reasons for it. Okay, so
Okay, go for it. I'm listening.
About. All right. I'll be the guest on the show real quick. All right. So, when we're talking about Wasteland, it is Mad Max specific, right? So it's not like, yes, it is generally post-apocalyptic, but it's not all post-apocalyptic. It's only what can be inspired or traced back to a Mad Max world, right? So yeah, some of Fallout works. A lot of Fallout doesn't. They don't allow power armor. They don't do super mutants. They don't do zombies, ghouls, for those who haven't seen the show yet, or zombies at all either. So it's a very like science-y nonfiction. The atom bombs fell, kind of wiped out the whole world scenario, and that is the bubble we're in. But now, when we're talking about Neotropolis, we are on a desert crossroads planet that's in the outskirts of who knows where. That is kind of like a gold rush planet. So people are coming not just from Earth, but from planets all over the place. I don't know if we even have like a year that it all takes place in, but because it's sci-fi cyberpunk, like so much more can work. The world is kind of expansive. You can come from any planet where any culture or any alien or any Borg exists and can come to Neotropolis and fit in. So does that make sense? So like it's a little bit more open as far as theme goes in a weird way.
There's a few extra lanes on the freeway, so to speak. A few extra genres you can dig into. And people go wild with these costumes.
And I've spent years. Oh my gosh, yeah, so impressive. What were a couple of your favorites?
Oh my goodness, the people who are anybody who has anybody who has their head encased with stuff, you get props from me because I don't want anything around my head. There's so many just weird, strange things. People who don't even look humanoid anymore. There's someone who has a TV on their head sometimes, or a computer monitor. It's just where these people come up with these ideas. You know, I'm really playing make believe at Neotropolis. Like I'm good at Wasteland. I think I am. Maybe I'm not. But I think. But I do. I see people at Neotropolis, and I go, "Oh my god!" I go, "Where did you come up with all this weirdness?"
Oh my gosh, yeah. And that's funny. I brought like 3 or 4 different masks and helmets and stuff. And I thought, you know, if I feel the whim, I'll put it on. But yeah, same thing. I don't want something on my face. First off, it makes it a little bit tougher to see and hear everything. And I want to take it all in. And secondly, it's really interesting because when you talk to someone that's wearing a mask, even if you know who it is, there's this barrier between you. You can't communicate normally. So you're kind of talking to it, what is figuratively an inanimate object, whether it's the mask or the TV or, you know, the Sentinels are very often wearing a 3/4 mask. And it's really tough to have a human connection. So for me that, you know, I'm a super social butterfly at these things. I want to be able to have those conversations with everybody. But if I ever did want to like just disappear into the background, I had the mask ready to go.
It does. It's interesting you note that. It does take away some social cues that we get from facial expressions, but that really works with Sentinels.
Right.
Did you get arrested this year?
I did not get arrested, but I was shooting as Moonshot, also known as Showdire, or Show Pony from Wasteland. she was doing a news piece for Network 42, which I was also a reporter for. And she asked a few too many questions of the Sentinels and got put in jail and had to finish her news piece from behind bars, which was hilarious. I can't wait for that to come out.
Big shout out to Major and Ty, who were some of the higher up level Sentinels. They got to wear the hats. They're really great improv actors and a lot of fun to play with out there. Fun
And
people to improv with. You volley them anything and they'll volley you something back. It's a good time.
I love it. Yeah, the Sentinels are really interesting because they are like, this police presence on in Neotropolis City on Kepler 609C, and they are super intimidating anytime you see them. And I have to kind of remind myself over and over again, oh, this is just like, I know some of these people that I can't see their faces, and they're just having a good time like we are. They're not actually here to police us. They're just here as part of the show, so I could talk to them.
And anytime
kind of, a little bit like off camera.
Anytime they'd come around the corner, I'd go, oh, everybody behave,
Right.
The principal's here. The teacher's back in the room.
I think it was Thursday. I decided, oh shoot. And this is another really big difference between Wasteland and Neotropolis is Wasteland, a lot of the lore and storylines and missions are tribe-based, so basically user-generated. But with Neotropolis, there is a gigantic lore story happening at the festival that is the official storyline that's happening. And all of the, not tribes, but factions kind of build off of that. And so by Thursday, I was like, oh, shoot, I better go find out some of the storyline because I'd already spent quite a bit of time in the pre-event season trying to figure out what the story was going to be. And it was very secretive, which, of course, just made me even more curious. And so I went around and, the first thing you're supposed to do is, of course, go get your RFID band. Did you get one?
Yes, I did.
Very good. And then they would let you know, you get next thing to do is go and pledge an allegiance. That sounds weird. Pledge allegiance. Basically go and figure out which allegiance you want to join, whether it's going to be Endline, the militant group, Helix, which is the giant corporation, kind of like Walmart meets Amazon meets every giant corporation ever, or are you going to join the resistance and fight back against the military industrial complex, right? And so this was part of my super fun Thursday is I went up to Endline and I just started asking them questions like, hey, we're supposed to join an allegiance, trying to figure out which one I should join. I'm not saying I'm joining you yet, but why should I join Helix? And the NPC, the non-player character that was in charge of Helix at the time, went through this whole spiel about, the rule of order and, joining with the winning team and blah, blah, blah. And it was just really cool. And then I asked another question, like, what kind of jobs will I be given? And they said, well, we'll assess your skill set. And, we might have this set of work for you, or we might have this set of work for you, but everyone will get a chance to work. And I said, all right. And I hear there's a resistance out there. Are you against the people? And they were like, oh, no. So they had a thing for everything. And I did the same thing with Endline. I went over and they gave me the whole spiel. And there was a Mr. Smith just sitting there in the back.
Yeah.
Not saying anything. And I was like, your friend there doesn't say much. And it was just so fun because the guy playing Mr. Smith, I wish I knew his name, but you could not break that man. He had a stone cold stare, very much like a Man in Black kind of a deal. Anyway, getting that far in was just really fun. And it was obviously really well thought out. And the people they got to play these NPCs were doing a great job.
Don't cliffhanger us. Which one did you join?
Well, this is where we're gonna go wah wah, because I really wanted to join the resistance, but I was holding out because we were supposed to join up with some friends, and then bip bop boop, things happened. We never got together, and then Friday storm happened, and so while the storm was still kind of was still kind of like coming down, I tried to take my first steps toward joining the resistance, which I don't know if this is a spoiler, but there was a certain place you were supposed to go and there was a certain password you could say. I got this information from the Atalanta Enterprises, because when you need information, go to Atalanta, which is one of the factions.
That I didn't know.
And of course,
about.
that's run by Doc.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. When you need info, Atalanta, you got to go there.
And here I was just,
what the funny
just
thing
small
is,
talking with Doc Schofield. I didn't know he was the center of the information hub.
oh, yeah, that's their thing. They
He's
not
just
only
pouring
are a
me
great
drinks.
place. Yep. See, that's your mistake. They make good drinks. They lure you in with those good drinks, but you can trade for some information at Atalanta Enterprises. And they have a member of the bar that is secretly in each of the factions. So they know everything that's happening.
Oh,
Shh,
they're
don't tell
all spokes of the wheel. That's good. Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah,
I will say, you hit on two topics that I want to hit on. One of which, in short, is nothing is what it seems at Neotropolis, right?
That's so true.
Don't you think everything is like a front for a secret, insert a gimmick?
Well, I got to say, once you're in the maze of Mega Block 1, which was, if you walked in, it was the left and far corner, like that whole corner. Once you're over there, there's some devious things happening, a lot of underground mystery. I'm not going to say that's where the resistance was, but maybe that's a good place to find the resistance. But yeah, so after the storm, things were just a little chaotic the rest of Friday. And so when I went to my designated secret place and said my designated secret code, the person that was going to be the NPC and knew the next steps was not available because probably their tent was blowing out into the Mojave. So it kind of ended there for me. But I do know that other people were able to keep the storyline going and make things work. For me, it was like, I just wanted to kind of like, dip a toe, which I did. I was happy. But then it was just back to, trying to see everything and find my way in everywhere and say hi to all my friends, basically.
I was going to join, but then I played Beyblades.
No, tell me about the Beyblades, because I did only my trial fight. But it was different this year, right? It was
Here's the thing. I had Skylar on Wasteland Wednesday, and he says, do you want to talk about Beyblades? And I was like, I can't even spell Beyblades. So yes, of course I want to talk about it. I have no idea what it is. So I don't know what it was like last year. I remember seeing people like pop up at the streets, and I saw they had a small thing in the middle. But this year, it was the heart and lungs of Mega Block, that Beyblade setup. It was super fun.
Yeah, they were front and center. Well, more center than front. They had a great booth. I think it was double the size it was last time. And yeah, they kind of changed it up a little bit because last year they did an epic tournament that was inside the Kaiju Club.
Yeah.
And it went on for hours and hours and hours. And they said, well, we didn't want to do that. It was a little bit drawn out. We wanted people to be like fighting their Beyblades. And by the way, if you don't know, the Beyblades are these little tops from the 80s and 90s that
so here it is.
You would fight.
Here's the thing. It's not from the 80s or 90s. It's from like 2001. They said it came up after Yu-Gi-Oh! So this is not...
Oh, wow.
That's what I thought. I thought, okay, this is nostalgic. How come I didn't have it? Because I had every toy in the 80s.
Well, it's still, it's still 20 years ago. We're old.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks. Thanks. It's nostalgic for somebody.
I know the 2000s still feel like they were just then. Aren't the Killers still the biggest band?
So yes, of course, Sam's Town. And so they are 3-piece spinning tops, a top, a middle, and a bottom, and you can mix and match them, and you can customize them. I think the top sometimes is representative of a character or an animal or an anime.
Mm-hmm.
And but folks, all it is you put it in a little machine and you go 3, 2, 1 and you pull the string and they just hit each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of the time they just spin until one of them gets tired and falls down. And so the one still spinning
Uh,
wins. But every now and then, if they get the right impact, one of them will actually break apart.
Yeah, so you can get bounced out of the arena, you can explode, or you can like do
Mm,
that stamina one. You can outlast your opponent.
right. Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, last year they did a mega tournament and that was a majority of the fighting. But this year they were going for something new where they wanted to encourage people to have battles throughout Neotropolis. And so they would like bring around their tournament, what do you call it? Bowl. And they would have people fight in that. People would kind of make their own. Like I saw at one point, there was a battle happening on the upside down of a barrel. And that's where some competitions were happening. So it was really cool. Like it was a great idea.
So if you got there Thursday, you could get like, I'm going to call it a merit badge sash. You could get like a little badge. Did you see people wearing them, the plastic
Right.
ones? And then
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know
I
if
broke mine.
it was 15 or 20 people. They were like the elite or the icons, and you would battle them to get their little nugget. And so
Yeah.
you'd put their little merit badge
Yep.
onto your little merit badge sash, and that's how you got into the tournament. So there was a bit of like, kind of like an extra step to get into the tournament.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but they had these
each different
battles
little
happening
elite
everywhere.
person had a different kind of thing, a different kind of gimmick.
Yeah. Really cool. It was like these little 3D printed tabs that would actually fit into the badge and then would stay there. Pretty, I mean, just clever. Good stuff.
Hey, listen, I'm still making
And
bottle
yeah,
caps
Mega
over
Block
here.
was
People are doing it upright.
yeah, this 3D printing stuff.
Oh,
Welcome to the
jeez.
future.
Oh, man.
And just like last year, and just like what you'd want, Mega Block was full of so many factions doing their thing. Like everywhere you turned, there was a mission to be run or a business to be a part of. The one mission that I did follow to completion, and this is just ridiculous, was the insurance company. What are they called?
Not
Falcon.
Vulture
No.
Corp.
Vulture, yeah, not Falcon, Vulture Corp, which is an insurer. They will insure anything, and the mission was in order to get insurance. And I tried to insure my Beyblade. You had to go somewhere. You had to go to your employer to make sure you had money. So you had to get a signature from whoever your employer was, which could have been like Helix or Enline. You had to go to the Sentinels and have them sign off that you're not a criminal. And then you had to figure out who your beneficiary would be and have them sign. So it was literally a paperwork mission, and it was still tons of fun. I did paperwork for the one mission I actually finished.
There you go. You're role playing
Yeah.
someone's day job now.
But of course, I insured my Beyblade, and I took the pieces apart, and I said, "Oh no, my Beyblade lost, and now it's in pieces. Can I put in a claim?" And I was told that I was talking to the wrong insurance drone copy. Like, I think it was like I was talking to 33. I needed to be talking to 87, which are the same person in different costumes.
No, I don't believe it.
But I was told that that processing would take 3 or 4 days. And this is on Saturday, the day before we're all leaving. So
That's too many
I never did
days.
get my insurance payout.
You'll have to come back next year.
You have to come back next year. I'm going to hold her to it.
That was
But
on the
whole
second
shtick was
floor,
fun, and I enjoyed it.
by Lady Fahrenheit. How did you?
That's right.
Did you enjoy the second floor this year, which seemed to have a full renaissance? Because I spent 1,000% more time on the second floor this year than I had in the previous 2 other years combined.
Yeah, I got to say, last year, like all the second floor stuff, there were actually some areas of the second floor last year that were just simply inaccessible by regular attendees. A lot of it was for the crew to have like some private spaces for themselves, which totally makes sense. And again, there was that this year, but to a much less extent. But for the most part, yeah, there was a lot more second floor stuff that was just accessible and just nice and easy stairs to go up. You could spend a lot more time on the second floor. And it was truly like that maze kind of a feel, but this time in 3 dimensions.
A lot of people using that maze word, huh? Interesting.
Yeah. Well, it was that whole area was kind of called the maze just because it, one area of Mega Block 1 was very square, with just a little cut. But then over here, it was very serpentine, with a lot of layers and a lot of like secret passages and places that you didn't know you could go, but you could. There was one area that as they were building it, I overheard, yeah, in this room, there's one way in, but three ways out. And I was like, what? Like there were secret doors to get out.
You're like, spoilers,
Pretty
spoilers,
cool.
run.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the things you brought up earlier, and I wanted to encourage everybody within listening distance, is that when you come to these events and you have a camp or you have a tribe or you have a group of friends, part of this event is exploring on your own and getting lost and choosing your own adventure and being curious and separating from your pack, because the way you interact with these characters is going to be different than the way you interact with them with a group of friends. So this year at Neotropolis, there was a bit of a friendship thing going on, and I encourage everybody to do things as a group, but most importantly, get out there on your own, choose your own adventure. Maybe nothing happens, and then you find your friends again.
Yeah.
But I think people come into this, it's not a group dinner, it's not a group movie, it's not a group trip to the mall. It is very much something different, where you have to break away from your pack and explore, make new friends.
Yeah, and I can't agree with that more, because just the nature of the event, it's really hard to keep a group of more than, one or two or three people together. Everyone, we're all squirreling really hard. Let's squirrel over there. Oh, I got to go check this out. Oh, I see that person. So it's really hard to keep a group together. And there were a couple of times when I found myself in the middle of that. And I just had to go, you know what? You guys do your thing. I'm going to go and just kind of wander on my own, or find one person to wander with, because it's a lot easier to do it that way. And then, of course, like, you can go have your own adventure and then find your friends later and all tell each other your stories, which is part of the fun, is like embellishing our stories, or like making them more full, like kind of rounding them out a little bit, right? Like, yes, my mission was to go get insurance, but for a little while I was living in that world, and I had to go to my employer, which happened to be, hold on, I'm blanking on this again. From The Good
Think
Place.
Really hard. I know what you're talking
Karen.
about. Do you want to think about it? It's not Karen. It's close. It has an A.
No, tell me.
Janet. J-A-Net.
Yeah. Janet. Yes. Yeah. So I had to go to the lead Janet and be like, hey, can you sign for this? That was my job for the moment, was to be a Janet. And that was my employer. I don't know. It's just fun. But sometimes, yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Like, you need to get on your own and go explore.
What is actually happening versus how it makes you feel can be two very different things. So you can have a group tribe breakfast, go get lost, have a tribe dinner, go tell your stories. And an interesting thing happened to me on Wednesday night, and I asked Bear, I don't know if some of you know Bear, he helps cook for Build Crew. So if you've been on Build Crew, maybe Bear cooked for you. On Wednesday night, I received a present. And on Thursday morning, I asked Bear if he had any recipes for calamari, because I got a giant tentacle as a gift.
If you're just listening to this and not seeing what Marky's doing, he literally has this, 3 foot or 4 foot long, like soft rubber tentacle. It's purple and black, and it has all the suckers. What did we decide it weighs? You did a mission for everybody. What does this weigh?
This was not a mission. This is just me being silly. I just started to ask people how much they thought it weighed, just for funsies, and it weighs 3.2 pounds. But it's very heavy at one end, and it's very light at the other end. That's why people can't tell. Shout out to the person. I was
very confident.
Some people, they lift it like they're at the gym, like they're trying to think of their workout, so they lift it. Shout out to Mickey, who held it like a baby and kind of tried to decide if it feels.
Oh, that's hilarious.
if
My
it
little
feels like their
tentacle
child.
baby.
It is.
Wait,
It is.
that feels like a what was it? That was like a Men in Black thing, wasn't it? Wasn't there a tentacle baby in Men in Black?
I have no idea. This is the second. Maybe I have to watch Men in Black before next Neo instead of Ghost in the
Yeah.
Shell and all the things I am watching.
That's funny. But yeah, I was very confident with my 2.2 pounds guess, and I was only off about 50%. So
That's
good.
just Marky being silly, and then yeah, it had its own
Yeah.
adventure. So shout out if you met my tentacle.
So
Did
speaking of
you
Marky
get
being
any?
silly,
Me being silly. This is my favorite subject. Go ahead.
yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, let's talk about Marky being crafty. How did the body shop go this year?
So this was my first year not in my own faction, not in my own cube. So we just kind of had daytime hours when last year and the previous year, I would open the body shop at night for people who,
Oh yeah.
for the nighttime denizens, for the people who wanted to complete their look at night.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty good. It's a little chill in the mornings because I think Neo is it's a more nighttime
just
themed
starts
event.
later, yeah.
Yeah, so people maybe are sleeping in or they're just eating. But my afternoon shifts were amazing, and it was good, and it comes with all the unique challenges that being in the desert comes with: electricity and wind and hold on to your butts kind of a thing. But it was great.
Awesome.
Lots of hair braiding. Folks really
Moonshots.
wanted their hair braided once the wind
Oh,
kicked up.
yeah.
I think they thought, better get your hair braided.
So I don't know if it was you or someone else from the body shop, but Moonshot had set up. She was asking, does anyone want to come and do a model thing, like get a little bit of work done and go show it off to kind of advertise for the body shop? And I said, yeah, heck yeah, me. And so on Wednesday, I literally happened by. I'd kind of forgotten about it. And then I set up a time lapse right there. And they were like, oh, you ready? And I was like, oh, that's right. Let's do the thing. So I sat down, and this is, I know we're talking about the body shop, but this is how I got my pink sunglasses forcefully bartered from me. Because I sat down with Void. Void is a wonderful giant of a man who did my hair. And yeah, if you're watching, it was all just color on my sides. It was like blacklight reactive and that whole thing. And of course, with the body shop, you're not allowed to pay any cash for anything. It's always like a barter system. And Void looks at my glasses that were just kind of hung around my neck, and he goes, I like your glasses. And I was like, oh yeah, they're really nice. They're like pink, and they do this whole color shift thing. And he says, I kind of want them. And I was like, oh no. Oh, okay. And he's got these other like purple glasses, and he's like, I'll trade you for these. And I was like, they're not pink, but okay. So yeah, he took my pink glasses, and I took the purple ones. And honestly, I'm thrilled with the purple ones. They're like square glasses in round frames, and they just have this really unique look. And it made some pictures I got taken later look fantastic.
Oh yeah,
and I can always find another pink pair of aviators. So yeah, it was just kind of funny because I was like,
some nice dramatic reveals of you. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. And then I forget her name, but she was doing the hair. She did a couple braids for me. So yeah, it was tons of fun. And it's always great to just sit down and like meet somebody and have a great conversation and get a little something did.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. Did you see my work anywhere else this year?
I was going to ask you, hey, did you have any collaborations with any of the star performers on the main stage?
How exciting was that? What a fun call to get. That was...
tell me more about that.
Yeah, that was the windy day. So we had closed because of the wind at the body shop. So I did not go into work that day, so to speak. And you just can't airbrush when it's windy. Or you just airbrush everybody.
Right.
So they had, through the grapevine, a few people had messaged me on my phone and in person, and I was like, no way. I was like, really? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, when? And they were like, now. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get my stuff. So I grabbed my stuff, and there was the game dome kind of became a green room, and it was great. She got her hair braided, and this, of course, was for Shiny Toy Guns, for Cara Faye of Shiny Toy Guns. who was the headline
Love
act
it.
on the core on Friday night. Super nice, super fun. It's always good when people. I showed her like 3 I'm like, these are the really popular stencils, and here are some other things that might work. And then she just starts to grab the stencils and hold them to her face, and I was like, oh, all right, you're into this. You
Cool.
want to be creative and you want to be fun. And we were going through all the colors and stuff, and it's just fun. Really, we were just like 2 kids with paint. It was just. Yeah, so it was a good
That's
time.
great. They put on a great show. Yeah, she sang 3 songs as a band, and then I forget the guy's name in the group, but he kind of did a DJ session afterwards. But I didn't know that I knew them, but all 3 of their songs, I was like, holy crap, I love this song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun, and the crowd was so into it. And that was at the end of like a pretty miserable day where tents were collapsing, easy ups were shredded. It was very dusty, very dirty. But here's what's great about these festivals. Wasteland's the same thing. It continues. In the worst weather, people will still play. And I remember I finally like made my way out of the tent that we were kind of like hiding in, waiting for the wind to stop. I'm getting messages from people like, oh, my camp collapse, and there's a little bit of upsetness, but there's also like, but what are we going to do now? Let's go. Next steps. So I made my way back into the main city, back into Mega Block, and people are still walking around. The factions are still hosting missions. There's still things happening. And what was kind of wild was the build crew were there like fixing things on the fly. And all I could think was like, in lore, this is perfect. We're on this desert planet. Obviously,
Yes.
It's very inhospitable desert planet. There's going to be windstorms. And I kind of thought of the build crew as like these repair bots that were just fixing the city as it was breaking around us. And when I say the city was breaking, like the structure was fine. It was mostly just the shade cloth.
Some
Was
of the
tearing
ropes
out
had
of
popped.
some of its rope. Yeah. And so they were just up there like retying everything. And the world kind of continued around them. And it was just really cool.
I will tell a fun story similar to that I was kind of sitting in my camp. My tent survived basically. And to be honest, if my tent went away, there's another one on Amazon. So now there's no shortage of Colemans.
Yeah, exactly.
A new Coleman will come in 2 days. So I was not sad if my tent broke. It's not expensive. It is what it is. But my tent did survive. We laid it down, but it was fine. But I will say, I too was sitting in camp, eating my cheese and crackers, kind of staring at the wind. And I went into Mega Block, and I ran into my friend Drew. I don't know if you know Tortuga Off-World Trading Company,
I do know
or
Drew.
Tortuga On-World Trading Company. And Drew, like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
kind of walking, and I'm just like, this kind of like you're not in character, and then you're instantly immersed. And Drew grabs me and he says, Marky, I need your help. And I'm like, oh, what? Is it a tent? Is something blowing over? What is it? He's like, I need you to help me smuggle this power core over to Endline. And I'm like, oh shit, that's right. We're still playing make-believe, and I was right back in it. I was instantly transported right back into the event. So
yeah, so fun. Oh my gosh. And yeah, it is kind of nuts when you realize, it's just a bunch of adults out here wearing costumes, playing simple like capture the flag type games, and having just an absolute blast doing it. Neotropolis gets a big old fat thumbs up from me.
What were some of your highlights? Do you know?
Oh, just the whole thing. It was just so fun. I love walking around. I gotta say, this was my number one highlight. I was hanging out with Shepard. We were trying to our mission was to go into all the places we had not been before. Because this is early Saturday night, like first thing Saturday night. Let's go and just get into all the places we haven't been before. And so we kind of walked around trying to discover anything that we'd missed so far. Anyway, we went through Kaiju. No, I'm sorry. I was trying to get into Maintenance Bay 54 because I hadn't gone yet, and they were running missions in order to get a chit that basically said, I am a robot and I am allowed in Maintenance Bay 54 because it's for robots only. If humans go in, bad things happen. Because I believe the shtick that Matthew told me was something like, The nanobots inside will help repair any holes or injuries that happen to non-organic material. But of course, organic people would prefer that their holes not be mended. If you see what we're getting at here.
Okay. I'm nervous. Go ahead.
The bots can't tell the difference between a hole that's supposed to be there and a hole that's not supposed to be there. So basically, if you want your eyes to continue and your mouth to open, you can't go in Maintenance Bay 54 as a human. However, there were other ways to do it. Anyway, I had not run any of the missions, so I did not have the chit that allowed you in. But I don't know if you guys know this. There was a secret entrance to Maintenance Bay 54, but you had to know it was there. I happened to know it was there because I have friends. And so we found our way through, which was actually through the sake bar. So we got a nice shot of sake, and then we went through this like secret entrance to Maintenance Bay 54. And what happened right then was really cool because Electrotron, a band that was designed and performed by Neotropolis attendees. They actually created the band for Neotropolis 2 years ago. Were playing, and it was so fun. They had a beautiful setup in there. The sound was great. The band is I mean, just a perfect like cyber electro sound. They were doing a few covers. I believe they had mostly originals. But it was just a blast. So we just jumped up front and started dancing around. And then, of course, you're looking around and you start recognizing all the other faces. You know, you were there. Sir.
I was right behind you for that show. Yeah. Their song "Danger Inbound" has been on repeat in this house. So if you're
nice,
if you're feeling nostalgic, "Danger Inbound," check out their music video too because it looks spare no expense. It looks pretty nice.
Yeah, I can't believe. Yeah, for a group that basically set up just for these events, they've got a pretty good presence already, and they already have 5 demos like done and out, and they're all stellar. And I don't know, I was just super impressed, and it was tons of fun. We ended up staying for the rest of the show, talking to the band afterwards. It was a blast. Yeah, I think that was one of my highlights.
I was there right behind you.
I love it. All right, so I know that we haven't gotten even that far into Neotropolis, but it's time for us to shift gears a little bit.
Shifting gears to another planet.
We're going to shift gears. We're going to talk about Fallout the TV show. But before we get into that, guys, first off, last week I put out my first video for Neotropolis, so make sure you jump on my YouTube channel and check it out. It's called what's it called? This is so bad.
Denizens? Does it have
distortion
a D in
effect?
It? Distortion.
It's called dilation effect.
Dilation.
And it's basically a bunch of dilation
holes.
effect, like time dilation, because it's all the slow motion. Very, very focused on the people of Neotropolis City. So make sure to go check that out. It should be right here in YouTube if that's where you're listening. If not, jump over to YouTube and go to the Apocalypse Post, and you'll see it there. Also, I'm not the only one that's got a video out there. Spectrum from Try and Fly Photography, he's got a video out very similar to mine, where it's just kind of showing off some of the really cool highlights of Neotropolis. And I'm going to drop the link in the comments below or in the show notes. So make sure you check that out too, because these 2 videos will give you a good idea of what to expect at Neotropolis during the day and at night, which is totally different.
And your boy Marky's got a video. Oh boy, we sure do. It's very funny. You and him went kind of for the slow-mo. All of my stuff is 2x. So get ready, because everything is going to be at full speed, double speed for my video coming up. And we used some of the music from some of the bands, and that will be coming out as soon as I click upload.
Oh, sweet. All right, we need the link to that, and I'll have that in the show notes as well. It'll
definitely be up by the time you listen to this video. It'll be up soon.
Awesome. Yeah, and also, of course, the Neotropolis official highlights from the actual event will be coming soon as well. They've got a lot more footage to go through. I did not shoot much, so I could be quick, but that'll be coming really soon. And Preston Yarger, fantastic photographer and videographer, is editing that probably as we speak, and he always does fantastic work. So you can look forward to that as well.
if we can jump in just real quick about photography, a lot of these photographers are nice people and want to take your picture. So if you want your picture taken, sometimes all you have to do is ask.
Oh, that's
I
so
know
true.
I am not. Lots of people take my picture at Wasteland, at Neotropolis. Not so much. That's fine.
That's funny.
I know I'm not as outstanding looking as others at Neotropolis, but folks, if you look great, or if you worked hard on your stuff, don't be shy to just say hey to the photographers and ask them to take your picture.
It's so true. Yeah, that's one of the comments we get from Wasteland quite a bit too, because I do run the video team there, and so I'm very adjacent to the photography team. Sometimes there's certain people that say, oh, I never get a picture or anything like that. And there's lots of reasons for it. Sometimes it's just the odds. At the event at Wasteland, there's 4,000 plus people. Not everyone's going to make the highlights reel. It's just part of it. And so the biggest, loudest costumes and biggest, loudest actions will tend to attract lenses more. So if you're a little bit more shy, photographers kind of pick up on that and may just not shoot you if you're just kind of, standing there in the background and not doing anything. However, just like Marky said, if you want your picture taken, go just say, hey, would you mind getting a shot of me? Especially if you recognize the photographer and like their work, because, they're just trying to figure out what to shoot next the whole time. And sometimes having someone say, hey, you take my picture is really great. And of course, a lot of the photographers will work with you, either take your shot right then or say, hey, do you want to do a pose? I got this idea that been trying to do. Don't be scared to just straight up ask any of us to take your picture, put you in a video. I'm always looking for people to interview, like at Wasteland. So if I'm carrying a camera,
totally same. Yep.
Yeah, totally. All right. I'm glad you added that. But now I'm going to make us take a break. We're going to come back and talk about the Fallout TV show. And we're going to show off this month's patch of the month for the Apocalypse Post's Patreon coming up right after this. So stick around. I'm going to hit you with one quick commercial and we'll be right back.
It's tough enough to keep your body hydrated in this dry-ass desert. But you're also constantly sweating and peeing out all of your electrolytes. And you need those. But here at Waste Not Organic Pea Salt, we collect used electrolytes. And with a triple wash system, get all that calcium, magnesium, and potassium, or as we like to call it around here, CMP, back into a solid crystalline form, ready to sprinkle on your dinner. Wouldn't you want a CMP for yourself? Come get some Waste Not Organic Pea Salt. Yum.
The Love Bombs provide top-notch outcomes for the most discriminating clients all across the Wasteland. When you need executive escort and protection, intelligence analysis, direct action, or other specialized solutions, the Love Bombs provide a bespoke option tailored directly to your needs. Listen to this heartfelt testimonial from one of the Love Bombs' satisfied clients.
I hired the Love Bombs to save my precious Pookie Pie from them there scabs over yonder. They was fixing to turn his poor hide into jerky. Woo! Whew! I reckon not a one of those bastards will walk away from this scuffle.
Because it's on the body part.
Goodness gracious, I reckon I ain't ever seen a gun that big. The Love Bombs will give your enemies a licking they won't soon forget.
Yes, the Love Bombs. They're polite, professional, and have a plan to kill everyone they meet. The Love Bombs provide complete confidentiality in their free initial consultation. That's right, the initial consultation is absolutely free. Remember, the Love Bombs. Artillery available.
All right, guys, welcome back. We're going to continue with Marky. We're going to talk about Fallout, the TV show, because I think we have to, and because the Fallout TV show came out with such wonderful success. I think it's about time to announce our patch of the month. So, Marky, do you have one there? Because I've got one here. Let's do it together.
I don't think I have one here.
You don't? You sent them all to me. All right.
No,
all right,
I don't know where they are.
That's okay. I'm going to sneak it up into my frame. This month's
yes.
patch of the month is a Fallout. What is this? Strength.
It's a
merit
strength
badge,
merit
right?
badge.
Yes.
What makes you special? Yay!
Yeah. So this is art that's kind of taken from the game, right? Like
It's
you
the
can build
strength perk, right?
Yeah.
So you can, when you build your character, you can add points to strength and whatnot. And so that's the strength perk guy inside a Vault Tech gear of sorts. So the Vault Tech door.
Yes.
There it is.
Amazing.
I love the
this is really
contrasting
fun.
colors and his curly blonde hair. He's flexing on you, bro. He's flexing on you.
Oh yeah, and he's also got those the blue banana hammock going on.
He's got his classic bodybuilder Speedo. Look out, Arnold.
Yep.
You can wear this with pride, and you can give this to a friend. This, of course, covers anything physically strong or mentally strong. And if you made it through 2020, I think you're mentally strong and have earned this badge.
Yeah, you already deserve one. So let's talk a little bit about your shop.
Oh, let's talk about
into Fallout. Yeah, because you do a lot of patches and like bottle caps and that kind of thing, right?
I do a lot of pins and I do a lot of custom patches. A lot of the bottle cap pins are just kind of silly art I come up with, and some of it is Fallout based. Strangely, one of the most popular things I've ever made is the Dune nose noodle, which has popped off in all directions.
That's the wearable, right?
Yeah, so it's the little nose hose that goes in your nose and over your ear.
Yep.
I have sent that from everywhere from Saturday Night Live to Jimmy Fallon. All kinds of people have bought nose noodles from me. So it's
way.
It has been, It has been a very funny thing. I just threw up there, maybe 2021. I just said, I bet you I can make this. And it's been a hit. So that's fun.
Cool.
Some people like that, especially for Neotropolis and stuff like that. But a lot of the Nuka-Cola bottle cap pins are flying out of here. And you will probably get, if you buy one, you'll probably get a free Fallout sticker.
Oh,
if you buy on the Amazon. And there is an Amazon and an Etsy as well. And it's good stuff. Just a little side hustle, a little creative thing I do.
Yeah, and you've done like t-shirts and stuff too, right? I know you had a TeePublic for a minute. I kind of stopped my TeePublic. I thought it was not great.
I do have a TeePublic that occasionally people find, the TeePublic, those quirky designs. Another thing I made last year was the Quest deck cards.
That's right.
A deck of cards you could just pull a card out of the deck and it would give you a Wasteland quest to do, or any kind of, you could use them any day of the week if you wanted, but yeah.
That's great.
They were super fun. A lot of people, monstrous response to that. I was super excited.
Nice. Oh, that's so fun. Yeah, you've come up with some really cool stuff. And guys, go check out Marky's shops. You're going to send me the links, and I'm going to put it in the show notes, of course. A little bit of support back to him for supporting this show would be lovely. Always appreciate us creative artists. Always appreciate when you buy our merch, because we do a lot of stuff like, I don't know. I've got the Patreon now, which is really nice, and it's growing, and it really helps create things and make it more feasible to keep up with it. But for the most part, like, we just want to create. And so sometimes just buying some merch along the way really helps us out. Just so you guys know. Just like when you go see a band, if you're not paying a cover, definitely consider buying a t-shirt or a bumper sticker or whatever they got. Especially if they're a touring band, because they're probably losing money on that tour. So it always helps to help the artists out whenever you can.
I may not say it every time, but boy, oh boy, is it exciting to see one of my patches in the wild.
Oh my gosh, right? It just feels so good. Especially when people have taken a moment to like distress them for Wasteland or something like that. And you're just like, oh, it looks so good.
Every so often I'll be side by side with someone and they'll get a compliment on a patch and I'll be like, Yep.
I love it. All right. So since we have our Fallout patch, let's talk about Fallout, the TV show, a little bit, because I love this show. I was anticipating it for years, ever since it got announced. I followed along with the casting when the news came out. And then it finally just launched this month. And oh my God. What did you think?
It was good. It was actually great, right?
It's so good. And what's really fun is, all right, so Fallout, the first Fallout came out, in 1999 or something like that. It was a overview, kind of like the original Grand Theft Auto. It feels like so many games went from like an overview look to a first person or third person, which is kind of fun. But yeah, the show is canon as much as Fallout can have canon. Because yeah, a lot of things overlap and some things have been retconned over the years, but for the most part, especially when we're talking about Fallout 3 and above, this show actually fits right into the timeline, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, Todd Howard did come out and say there are things they could not put in the show because it's already planned for future games.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. But I love how the show starts very much like Fallout 3, New Vegas, and Fallout 4, where you get introduced to your main character. Maybe you get a little backstory, maybe you don't. But right away, something happens, and they have to go out into the wasteland. In this case, raiders attack the vault, and so our lead character has to go. I don't know how much of a spoiler, but she's got to go track down her dad. Her dad gets kidnapped, and she's got to go get him. I don't think that's a spoier. That's just kind of like
did anybody not watch this all at once over the weekend when it came out?
Well, actually, I watched half of it before I got to Neo, and I had to watch the back half of it afterwards, which was really tough. I was on the road for 2 weeks, 3 weeks for the whole thing. Yeah. But just like the video games, our lead character gets sidetracked into, like, maybe she falls into a vault, or she has to deal with this problem over here, or this over there. So there are side quests that she had to do along the way. It was really fun. What'd you think, Marky? Tell me honest opinions.
Do you think we have a lead character, or do you think we have kind of 3 lead characters? It was kind of Pulp Fiction in that way, that we follow 3 characters, and then how their lives intersect.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, all right. So Ella Purnell played Lucy McLean, Aaron Moten played Maximus, and where is he? Walton Goggins played the Ghoul. And I've loved Walton Goggins ever since The Shield. Like, he's just so talented, so fun. And for him to play the Ghoul was also known as Cooper Howard in the flashback scenes, was super fun. And no, you're not wrong. I do feel like, Lucy was our lead, but she's just merely the top of the 3-story triangle, because Maximus had a great story, fun arc, and of course the Ghoul had a great arc too. But yeah, Lucy was definitely our point of view character.
I thought it was fantastic. My only complaint is that it wasn't longer. I mean, how could you have any kind of complaint about this? I mean, it was so good. I was just so happy it was so good.
Yeah, and little things like I was reading these articles that said that they were taking the 3D prop plans from the video game engine in order to make a lot of the props that ended up on screen so that they could be screen accurate. Cool.
If some of you are watching on YouTube here, I have this enormous book back here. This huge book, this enormous book, big heavy book, is The Art of Fallout. And there's everything they used. There's everything they didn't use. All in 3 dimensions, all in high definition. So while perhaps not the most creative for the crew, it's got to be that. It's got to be what we saw in the game. It's already there.
Yeah.
The heavy lifting is done. Just make it look like that.
Yeah, totally. And they expanded on a lot of the wonderful Fallout tropes, like each of the vaults has some kind of mystery or experiment happening. And they continued that. And what else? Dog meat shows up.
I always got to have a dog meat. Yep.
Every Fallout has a dog meat, which is great. And what else? They were, I don't know. There's just so. If you have played New Vegas, you're going to be rewarded time and time again with Easter eggs left and right. Of course, the Red Rocket gas station shows up. There's a moment where we're hacking into a terminal, which is an in-game thing. How did you shit yourself right then? Because I was like, oh.
No, but here's what happened when I saw it. Like he's got to choose the passcode. I was like, oh, I hate this part. And that's exactly how I felt when I started the show. I was like, oh no,
really?
not this part. Yeah. I was like, oh great. I still don't know how to do it. I don't know. There's parentheses or I don't know. Everybody tells me I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
But that was great. There was a lot of great screen accurate stuff. No death claws. What the heck?
Oh yeah, didn't they hint at one though? At some point, they hinted at a death claw.
There was a skull at the last episode.
Yep. So I think it's coming, is what they're saying.
Boo! Not enough.
Yep. But yeah, there were just so many wonderful things, and I like that they gave us a lot of backstory for Vault-Tec and Robco and the whole deal. That's always been alluded to in the game, but never really shown. Fallout 4, I think, was one of the first ones that actually started in 2077, like when the first bombs fell. We got a little bit of like a backstory there, but in the show we get a ton of learning about like Vault-Tec and how they might not be such a good company, which we've always known that. There's always been enough hints to know that Vault-Tec is not a good company. but the show really builds on that.
Petri dishes.
Yeah. But the show definitely it gives us more information about that. And I thought it was really cool. Like some people were like, oh, it's a little too like in your face. I was like, no, I wanted it. I've wanted it for a long time. And yeah, like trying to figure out timelines and stuff. Just wild. Good stuff.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I had an absolute blast with it. I loved it. It encaptured kind of the zaniness that Fallout has.
Yeah,
some zany moments where you run into weirdos and stuff, and yeah.
So many parts of it just felt like you were playing the game. And there's even like with Lucy, there's like this certain detachment her character has. She's very happy-go-lucky, and kind of nothing can get her down. And that kind of feels a lot like a lead in a video game, because no matter how much you hurt in a video game, you can just keep playing. And even like injuries, right? Because in a video game, oh, my foot hurts, but you're not like, oh, I can't move. No, you're just going to hobble around. And they kind of played with that a little bit, where people were injured, but it didn't hurt so much. And I thought that was really kind of clever.
It just so happens there's a stim pack around. Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, the stim packs were great. And they definitely set up season 2 really well. There's so many stories that are just getting started, so many like smaller characters that I know are going to be a big part of season 2. And I'm pretty darn sure that season 2 is already announced, right?
I think they did greenlight it the day the show came out, or the day before the show came out. The day before the show came out, they had a big to-do on Hollywood Boulevard, kind of a premiere, but which is strange because it's a TV show, right? I don't know. The TV shows often have Hollywood premieres, but
yeah,
that one sure did in a big way. And yeah. So I think they're all aboard with it. I mean,
yeah.
Does Amazon and Bethesda have any extra money?
Oh, I wonder. Oh, speaking of big premieres, did you see that the Wasteland community was a big part of the Hollywood premiere for Furiosa like this week?
I'm hearing whispers of such a thing that happened.
Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can't find this post real quick. You guys are going to want to track this down. Yeah, here it is. Wasteland Weekend was honored to be asked to bring vehicles and folks in costume to Hollywood Boulevard for a special event promoting Mad Max Furiosa. We brought 9 vehicles, including our war rig, and over 30 Wastelanders in full costume. And of course, Wasteland War Boys were well represented. It was also a segment for Jimmy Kimmel Live. Chris Hemsworth and Anya Taylor-Joy were there in costume. And of course, George Miller was there. So really cool that they reached out to the Wasteland community, because I don't know if there's anyone doing it like Wastelanders as far as like being in the Mad Max world. They got a ton of photos and videos, so there should be more coming out. But they just announced that on Wastelander Central. So check out those pictures, because holy crap, do I suddenly feel like I just missed out on one of the coolest days that has ever been.
You and me both. I think the WCC lost our invitations is what happened.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah, it looks pretty cool, and I bet people were pretty darn floored that were there to witness it. Pretty cool.
So yeah, no, very cool. I love the Fallout show. I can't wait for season 2. I think it's going to be good. I think the thing that summarizes it most, and this is, as game players, I never thought of it this way, but when I think it's Maximus that says, we all want to save the world, we just can't agree on how. And that
Oh yeah,
super summarizes the Fallout way of life. Some people want synths, and some people want military, and some people want, just organic people. And that's the way it is. And you're going to decide kind of who your favorite character is. Are you the ghoul? Are you Maximus?
right.
Are you Vault
Yeah.
Dweller?
Yeah,
It
and
leaves that open.
morality has a spectrum, right? Because you can either it's the old adage, even Dr. Spock on Star Trek, when he's dying from radiation poisoning in episode 2 or 3, the movies, when he says the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, right? That's one version of morality, but then there's also kill or be killed, right? Where it's, man against nature, and it's just it's me or you. So there's always these different blends of morality, and everyone's kind of right in their own way. Hopefully we never have to make the choice of a train barreling at 5 people, and if we hit that button, it'll only kill 1, because now did I just murder the 1, or did I save 5, or or would I have been murdering them if I hadn't pulled the switch?
Welcome to the
crazy.
Apocalypse Post, the happiest show on the internet.
But this is exactly what post-apocalypse and cyberpunk is always talking about, right? Is these versions of morality, like how do we become better people? And we have to kind of face these issues and figure it out.
It's getting dark, Mike. It's getting dark.
Yeah, I know. Should we wrap it up?
Oh boy, now I'm sad.
Well, end it on a happy note. Tell me something really thrilling.
What's something really thrilling? I am very looking forward to Wasteland this year. Do you think it's going to be the biggest one ever?
Oh, yes, 100%.
You think it'll be
2019?
2019, yeah, it was 4,300, right?
I think it was more. I want to say 2019 may have hit the 5,000 mark. I'm not sure, but for some reason, 2019 in my head is 5,200. It might have been like 4,800.
Wow, those are big numbers.
I know, there's a lot. And let's see, not this past Wasteland, but the one before that was like 38. I think that's what went on my map. I think this year was probably closer to 4,200. So we're going to see a big boost. And I'd expect maybe around the 5,000 mark, hopefully somewhere in there. It's going to be a big year. There's going to be a lot of people coming for the first time. It's going to be up to the tribes and us old guard that have been doing it for a minute to roll out the welcome mat and say, yes, please come play in our giant sandbox. And I think it's going to be cool. There's going to be new characters. We're probably going to have a lot more Fallout Vault Dwellers. And word to the wise, if you're going to do Vault Dweller, go more with you've been out of the vault for more than a couple of days. Dirty it up. Mix your costume. Yeah, go ahead and throw your jumpsuit on, but also put some armor on and that kind of thing. It'll help you blend in a little bit better. The blue and yellow really sticks out when we're talking Wasteland. So we don't need fresh Vault Dwellers.
When she had hers unzipped and tied around the waist, I was like, oh, that's how it fits in. Yeah.
Yep, that's a good look. And of course, we'll probably be seeing a whole lot of Furiosas this year, and maybe some what's Chris Hemsworth's character name? Dementus. Yeah, we'll probably see some of that, which would be great. That's the thing with Wasteland is cosplay, 100% do it. Like, we love cosplayers at Wasteland. At Neo, no recognizable characters. So no Darth Vaders, no Lukes. Who am I trying to say? Well, whatever. You know what I mean. No recognizable characters. Just don't do it. It's your chance to be original. But yeah, Wasteland, screen accurate costumes are a go. But yeah, I'm excited
Everybody
too.
gently guide the first years.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, you can find more information on Wasteland and Neotropolis on Facebook. Go to Wastelander Central for Wasteland stuff. Go to Neotropolis Central for Neo stuff. And there's a slew of other Facebook pages you can check out. Like there's the Wasteland Boot Camp, I want to say. There's tribe missions if you want to get involved in the lore. There's
Basic training is what it's called. Basic training.
Oh, basic training. Yeah, thank you. I think Neo has the same thing.
There's
Maybe.
also a Discord. Do you use the official Discord? I don't.
Well, it's pretty new. I haven't been on there yet. I'm pretty sure it'll be a thriving place. I'm not a big Discord user. It still just confuses the hell out of me.
It's a lot.
I just go on there to play games with people because it's a great place to like simultaneously play games. But as far as like, the news feed things in the chats, I don't. It's too much. But yeah, if you do the Discord thing, jump on there. And of course, you can find Wasteland everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, they got their own YouTube channels. So yeah. And then, of course, always fall back to the websites, wastelandweekend.com and neotropolis.com to get all the information, all the official information, the rules, your tickets, inspirational photos, and some backstory so you can stay ahead. Anything else for us, Marky?
Everybody volunteer. Find a position you like and do it. It's fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. You guys don't have to volunteer for a thing you don't like. Volunteer for the thing you do like.
Yeah, that's actually another good point. There's lots of ways to do these festivals. I think volunteering is a great way to do it. Anyone who does build crew knows you're going to work your butts off. You're going to be tired. You're going to be dirty. But you're going to start the event with so much camaraderie. It's insane. Same thing with Teardown. If you just don't want the event to end, you can volunteer for Teardown. It's a little bit less of a rising anticipation, right? Because now you're just kind of falling anticipation on the back end. But there's still a ton of camaraderie involved in Teardown, and you're going to find a new family just in the build crews. But also there's tons of stuff you can do during the event. So if you're a little bit more shy, especially around groups of people, sometimes these jobs can make it really easy to interact or have something to do or give you a reason to get out of camp.
Yes, the ice is broken.
Yeah. So, I don't know if I would necessarily say my advice would be to volunteer first year. It works for some people. It doesn't for others. But it can definitely save you money on that ticket. If you do build crew, you get to come in, a couple of days early. It's a blast to be there ahead of time. And then, of course, just like anything, you can always do a tribe at Wasteland or a faction at Neotropolis. Though that's an application process, but if you want to get more involved, it's another way to do it. And of course, events like this cannot happen without the volunteers. So if you just want to see Wasteland and Neotropolis continue going into the future, go ahead and throw your hat in the ring and get involved.
You got it.
All right, Marky, I'm gonna let you get out of here.
Whee!
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. This has been so fun. It's always great to catch up with you.
Oh, always. Same. I saw you out there having fun at Neo. It was nice.
I was having too much fun at Neo.
Okay.
I think I slept for 3 days straight after I got out. All right.
It's a good one.
Well, guys, don't forget to subscribe wherever you're listening. Give the show a thumbs up. Leave a comment or a question if you can, and we'll try to answer you. And of course, if you enjoyed today's episode, share it with a friend. And if you hated it, share it with an enemy, along with a Death Claw skull, just as a warning that there might be a season 2, because there will be. All right, survivors, we'll see you next time. Till then, stay alive.